Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I have 3 easy recipes for you, and they all start with a can of crescent rolls. Alright, if you're new here, hi, I'm Claire. Welcome. Come on in, make yourselves comfortable. If you like what you see here today, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Today I'm working with canned crescent rolls. I think that basically, if you keep a can of crescent rolls in your fridge at all times, you basically always have a meal in the making. They're an extremely versatile ingredient. I've made pizzas out of them and like rings where you fill them with things. Today I'm doing 3 new recipes never before seen on this channel that I think you're really gonna like. I am using today the Bakehouse crescent rolls, which is of course Aldi's brand. I'm an Aldi girl through and through. You guys know I love a good deal, and Aldi always has the best deal on everything, but crescent rolls especially. These were 95 cents a can, so a super affordable ingredient. And yeah, let's get right into it. Let's make these crescent roll recipes. All right, our first recipe is for a breakfast casserole. We're going to use 2 cans of crescent rolls. We've got some heavy cream, some milk, I've got eggs, I've got sharp cheddar cheese, salt and pepper. And when it comes to my mix-ins, I have chosen pork sausage because it's affordable, and I have some frozen tomatoes from my garden last year that I needed to use. I also have some green onions here, but you could use bacon, you could use whatever kind of cheese or veggie you like. You could make this vegetarian. It's pretty versatile. So if you're going the sausage route, you only need half a pound, which is great. I popped that other one in the freezer, and I'll make this again at some point. And I'm going to cook the sausage. If you wanted this to be easier, you could definitely use like maybe pre-cooked bacon or something. And because my tomatoes were frozen, I'm using about a cup of tomatoes, and I am just gonna mix them in with my pork, just, you know, to thaw them a bit. But you could use like frozen broccoli or something. That would be super affordable as well. And to make my sort of liquid mix here, you'll find that this is basically a quiche, but better. So I have 1 cup of regular milk, and I'm adding half a cup of heavy cream to that. I wish Aldi sold smaller amounts of cream. I'm just thinking about that while I'm looking at this, but anyway. Now we're going to add 5 eggs to that mixture. And then I'm just going to give that a little mix to make sure everything is nice and combined. At this point, I'm also going to add some salt and pepper. You definitely could add other spices, but I'm keeping it super simple today. Now I'm going to add my cheese. I'm using an 8-ounce brick of cheese. I have chosen sharp cheddar because I always pick the sharpest thing I have available to me, just because I really love the flavor. And yeah, that's a lot of cheese, but you could use whatever cheese, you know, you like. This is a super versatile recipe. And I'm going to only mix half of it into my egg and milk mixture, and then I'm going to add my tomatoes and my sausage and just kind of try to fold it in and incorporate it nicely. Set that aside. And now I'm going to grease a 9x13 pan, and I'm going to go ahead and roll up my crescent rolls just like you're supposed to, like in their normal shape. And I'm going to line the whole bottom of my pan with them. I did want to keep it even, so I did end up with 1 extra crescent roll that I probably could have tucked in there somewhere, but my brain just would not let me do that, so I just baked it on its own and gave it to one of my children. So once you've got those all in there, you just add your liquid mixture right on top. I'm, you know, taking a little bit of care to make sure that all my toppings aren't like on one specific spot. Kind of disperse things as evenly as you can. And then I'm going to use that cheese that we reserved from earlier to just throw on the top. And I'm going to bake this at 375 degrees. And it took about 35 minutes, but keep an eye on it. And oh my gosh, those crescent rolls puffed right up and that cheese got so bubbly and golden. And I'm adding some green onions on top because I love the flavor and I love the look of something a little bit green on top of that. But obviously that's optional. And this was so cheesy and delicious and definitely like a quiche, but I think a little bit easier. It took less time than a quiche and totally customizable for whatever your family likes. And it was Desmond tested and Desmond approved. On to our next recipe. We are doing a sweet one. We have amazing Nutella rolls, and obviously I am cheap, so I didn't get real Nutella. I got Berry Hill hazelnut spread, a much cheaper Aldi alternative. You need 1 can of crescent rolls, some pecans, and some powdered sugar. This is such a simple recipe. You're going to need to chop your pecans. You can definitely already buy them chopped, but this is what I was working with, so I just chopped them myself. You're going to need about half a cup of these. And honestly, this is the absolute easiest recipe. All you do is spread a thin layer of your hazelnut chocolate spread. I would say maybe like a teaspoon, maybe a little bit more, on your triangle of your crescent roll, and then you just throw on some nuts, and then you just roll it up like you would any other regular crescent roll, and this is literally it. Like, I can't believe how easy it was to make something that looked totally fancy and very bakery-like. And honestly, I had all the materials to make this already, and I couldn't believe I'd never thought of it. Seriously, best idea ever. You could definitely swap it out with a different type of nut as well, or you could skip the nuts altogether if that's not your vibe. And I baked these in a 375-degree oven. They took maybe a minute more than just a regular crescent roll, so 13 minutes. And they were so golden brown and so soft. And of course, we're going to top that with a bit of powdered sugar because we want to make it look like we just stopped at a fresh bakery for these. And oh my gosh, you guys, I'm really serious. You must try these. We both could not believe how good they were. So simple. And I never make anything sweet with crescent rolls. This was like the first time I'd ever done this. And now I'm pretty sure my husband is going to want me to do it all the time. All right, our last recipe, we are making ham and Swiss pinwheels. You're going to need a can of crescent rolls, some honey mustard, salt and pepper. I've got some minced garlic here as well. You could skip that or substitute it for a garlic powder if you wanted to. I also have some deli ham and some Swiss cheese. The first thing I'm going to do is unwrap my crescent rolls, and we are going to make these into a large rectangle just by like unrolling them and smooshing them together. I did use a rolling pin to kind of try to make it into one, but this wasn't like super necessary as I found out in the end because that bread just puffs right up in the oven and it didn't really matter. Now I'm going to spread a little layer of honey mustard. You could also use Dijon if that's your vibe. I probably used about a tablespoon here, so not too much. You could definitely use more than this if you like a strong mustard flavor. However, I didn't want my crescent rolls to get soggy, and I'm not like a huge mustard fan. I just like just a taste of it, so I went a little bit light on the mustard, and it worked out perfectly for me, but you do you. And to this, I'm going to add a little bit of garlic. I love garlic. I'm a garlic girl. I will put it in and on everything. So I thought this would just make this taste really delicious, and it did. But if you're not super into garlic, you definitely don't have to do this part. I probably used maybe a tablespoon total, just dispersing it, you know, throughout the dough here. But if you wanted to save some money, you could definitely go with a powdered version. Just throw some garlic powder on there. It would still be super delicious. Now I'm going to add my ham. Actually, this would be really good if you have leftover ham or turkey from a holiday. This would be like a really good next day, sort of like day after Easter or day after Thanksgiving or something would be super good, but I'm just using deli ham. And I think ham and Swiss is delicious together, but you could do like turkey and cheddar. You could do salami and pepper jack. You could really get a little bit creative with this one as well. So once I've covered it with ham, now I'm covering it with my Swiss cheese. Swiss is a good option too because it doesn't get super like liquidy. You want to avoid things like brie or things that really melt to a total liquid if you're going to bake it. And Swiss holds its structure quite well. Once I have all of that laid out, I'm going to roll it. Now, don't freak out if it starts breaking and looking wild. It doesn't matter. It will be fine in the end. At first, I was like, oh no, but it's bread, so it just puffs right up and it'll be fine. Any little cracks or anything are just not that important. So just roll it on up the long way, and then we're just going to cut it in half a lot of times. And I find that's the easiest way to make all of your pieces nice and even. So I cut it in half, and then in half again, and then in half again, and then I cut all of those in half again. So we're going to have 16 pinwheels in total. You could make these larger. However, I wanted this to feed all of us easily. And I thought making them a little bit thinner and more shallow would be the best way to go. And I stand by that decision. And I'm baking them in a cast iron pan today. I love cooking with cast iron, but you could definitely put these in a casserole dish. You don't have to put them in a circle or a flower shape. You could definitely do whatever you wanted. Now I'm looking at this. I wish I would have made this into a bunny shape for Easter. That would be so cute. And then you can pop it right in the oven, 375 degrees. And these took about 25-30 minutes. And they were so golden and delicious looking, and that cheese just melted perfectly. I added some salt and pepper on the top, and then they're ready to serve. I really especially loved these, you guys. Out of all of the recipes, this one was my husband's favorite, and he has requested that I make it again. Alright you guys, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed these recipes. Leave me a comment down below which one was your favorite. Do you have any creative ways that you like to use canned crescent rolls? I'd love to hear them because I'm serious when I tell you there's literally always at least one can of crescent rolls in my refrigerator at all times. As always, thank you so much for watching, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!